Welcome to the podcast series, Small Business Survival Conversations. Through our weekly conversations, we hope to provide you with strategies and insights, knowledge and expertise to enlighten you as you work to build and grow your business.
Hello, small business warriors. Welcome back to another episode of Monday Morning Motivation. I'm your host, Anna Steinfest, and today we have a special guest who has dedicated his work to helping individuals achieve a balanced and successful life. He's the author of The Complete Man, Triumphing Adversity and Achieving Success Without Losing Yourself. It is a powerful book that explores overcoming challenges, reaching new levels of success, and finding fulfillment along the way. Please join me in welcoming Clinton Smith. Hello, Clinton. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Miss Anna. I appreciate it. This is fantastic. And I just want to let you know that you guys are getting the best host ever. So thank you very much for having me.
Oh, full disclosure, I know Clinton for a few years.
Yes, when we were out there
I'm very grateful that
yes.
I'm very grateful that you agreed to join us.
Thank you very much.
With no further ado, we're going to jump in and talk about your book, The Complete Man. So The Complete Man focuses on balancing success with personal well-being, a concept that resonates deeply with small business owners who often feel like they are sacrificing one for other. Could you start by sharing what inspired you to write this book?
What inspired me to write The Complete Man is, hey, I'm just going to be honest with you. And I generally am honest and kind of knows how honest I am. Sometimes a little overly honest. I was in a situation where I was going through a divorce and I was completely broken down. And I was told that, I had a lot of success in business and I had a lot of success in doing as far as, family and stuff like that. But I was told, by my significant other that I wasn't complete. I wasn't fulfilling her as far as being a husband goes. So that's where The Complete Man came from. Even though I had all that success in doing my secular business and doing other things in order to be successful, I was still fighting with my significant other in order to be successful. So that's where The Complete Man came out of.
So Clinton, for our audience, can you also share what kind of businesses you don't have only one business, you have multiple businesses, plus in fact you're working full-time somewhere else.
I am. When Anna and I first met, I actually had a security business and I ran a security and bodyguard business for over 20 years. And then I kind of pivoted, which was really healthy in my opinion, is I started working in the prison system. I actually started running prisons and I love it. And it was the perfect match for me. And that's what I still do today. I am out in the community running prisons with behind the walls and also community wide. I run prisons out here in Massachusetts. I do juvenile corrections, which is tougher than adult corrections because juvenile corrections, there's a little bit of differences between what the law says and what you can do. So it's kind of a situation where you got to understand that there's things that you can and can't do being a juvenile administrator. And that's what I do today.
And meanwhile, I have to interrupt you. And meanwhile, you do have your real estate investment company.
And I'm sorry, yes.
Plus,
and
you finish your master's and you're going for your PhD. I just wanted to make sure that I just kind of stacked
and you know what,
you,
and I am, and thank you, because you know what, I'm one of those people that I just do what I need to do. I go out and speak. I'm a published author. I go out and speak and I have all these things going on. But I tell you, I'm always willing to come back and talk to individuals, especially when I know what it's like to get on that trek and try to establish themselves in a business environment. Believe me when I tell you this, I know exactly what you guys are going through.
In the book, you discuss triumphing over adversity. For many business owners, adversity is regular part of the journey. What are some of the most important lessons or strategies you can share with our listeners to handle the setbacks without losing sense of self?
Hey, that's a very, very good question, Miss Anna. Let me tell you this. Don't give up. Perseverance. Please, please, please. You're gonna, I think it was the first, I think honestly, I think it was 2 years before I got my first contract. And I'll never forget what my first contract was. And it wasn't, going out. I had it was a two-person contract. And I'll never forget, I was washing the floor. I was scrubbing the floor, and maybe I'm being given too much disclosure, but I was scrubbing the floor and my phone rang. And I was like, okay, so I get up, answer the phone, and it was actually a particular individual who was looking for security for one of the local events. And he said, hey, he said, I just want to try you out. Let's see how you can do. Because he said, I'm looking for some good security. I'm looking for an individual who I can rely on to do events. And I said, okay, fine, great. And from that time on, I worked with that individual. He ended up being one of my mentors, actually. And I ended up working with him, working in for his organization. And that was 2 years in. And for the next 10 years, I did everything from I had a monopoly on events in the city through this individual. So perseverance is the first thing. The second thing is don't let anybody tell you that you cannot be successful. You got to have that mindset. And what I did is I twisted my mindset and said, you know what? I'm going to be successful. And I took anything and everything, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter what it was. It was just like, okay, until the bigger events came and started working for started working for other entities. I had to put my name out there, and that's the second thing that I did, is make sure that I put my name out there. The third thing that I did is I was a sponge. I talked to the Anna Steinfests of the world. Absolutely. I was involved in, and Anna knows this, I was involved in the individuals that had the business associations, because that's where I first met Anna, is a business association meeting. And so I was just there to talk to these individuals to understand how they got their business started. And I modeled myself, along with the mentorship that I was on. I modeled my business after their businesses. So I seen their success. So I said, hey, if they're going to be successful, why can't I? So that's what I did in order to be successful.
In your opinion, what is the most common obstacle that stops people, business owners, from achieving a balanced life while pursuing their business goals? Because sometimes, like we get too focused on the business. And I mean, look at you, you have all these businesses, you have even your full-time job, and you're pursuing your PhD now. How do you manage to stay in balance?
I am a very spiritual person, so I would probably say spirituality is probably one thing. I read the Bible. I read about people who, including myself, who have stepped out and let those who stepped out of their own situations and said, you know what, how can I be successful? But they didn't let the problem with the issue that I think is with a lot of individuals is they put on too much. Take it one day at a time. Okay, so what I do on a daily basis is okay, when I have things that I need to do, I write them down. Prioritize. The first thing, okay, so I knocked that out today. That's priority. And if it's a big situation, make sure that you complete that task. I cannot stress that enough. Make sure that you go out and you complete that task, because if you don't, you're always going to be looking backwards going, okay, and then you take on something else. Okay, I got to complete that task, but let me go ahead and do something else. No, complete the task first and then go to the next task, and then go to the next task, and then go to the next task. Get your mindset to where you're going to be successful. If you don't do that, you won't be successful. Positive self-talk. You have to get up every morning and go, okay, you know what? What do I have to accomplish today? How hungry am I? And Anna and I talk about this all the time. We're both hungry. We both want to be, we have that hunger to be successful. And you got to, if I can tell your listeners that you got to have that mindset, you got to go out there and want to be successful. And that's one of the, I have in the middle of January, I will be coming, I have a give a talk about that, be on a panel about that, about being successful. Because honestly, until I opened my business, I really didn't know what it was like to be successful, but I know how to be successful on every ends. I mean, we basically talked about it. I am pursuing my PhD. I had a business for 20 years. I work in the toughest job, the top three toughest jobs in the United States is what I do for a living. And so I am sitting here going, you know what? You can do this, but you got to have the mindset in order to do it, in order to achieve.
So, Clinton, you're talking about the importance of mindset.
Yes.
Now, the importance of mindset, and again, the importance of mindset. Can you share how small business owners can cultivate a resilient mindset, especially in the face of challenges and in uncertainty? Do you
I can
have
tell you,
do you have
go
any
ahead.
specific practices or exercises you can share with us today?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Mindset is so hard. I mean, it's so hard because there's always the unknown for everybody. There is always the unknown. I mean, when you are first starting a business, you don't know if it's going to work, if it's not going to work. If it's going to work, are you going to be successful or are you not going to be successful at it? Most people that I know that, especially who I monitor, who I pattern my business after Miss Anna Steinfest. I
Oh, thank you. I did not ask.
I
Oh,
have basically what I did was is I looked at are they doing in order to be successful? And so I modeled myself after them. Look at all the big individuals out there who are successful. I can tell you one who I really, really, absolutely love is Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban, owner of the Dallas Mavericks. If you read anything, and everything that I possibly can get my hands on about Mark Cuban, that's what I did. Because Mark Cuban is not only smart, intelligent, but he gets after it. I mean, when he started his business, and I don't know if your viewers know this, but when he started his business, he actually owned a tech company that in the dot-com boom era that almost went belly up. And what he did was he had the foresight to see this, that it was getting that he needed to sell. And so what he did was is at the height of the dot-com boom, he sold it, made a lot of money. Well, we all know, business owners, we all know what happened to the dot-com era is it bottomed out. Well, he sold his shares before it bottomed out. And what he did was is he actually turned that profit into other businesses. And now he owns the Dallas Mavericks. And you see him all over TV now. So it's all about just changing that mindset and say, and look at yourself in the mirror and go, how much do I want to be successful? What do I want to do? And as we have talked about before, how hungry am I to do? How hungry am I to do the dirty work in order to get where I need to be?
yeah,
That is what you need to ask yourself.
that's right. Yes, because I mean, a lot of times, I mean, you have to pay the price. Are you willing to pay the price? You can have anything you want if you're willing to pay the price, to work hard for small business owners and to be consistent. So, but in one themes in your book, The Complete Man, is achieving success without burnout. Can you share
Yes.
some thoughts on building a sustainable business without sacrificing mental and physical well-being?
Again, wow. I can tell you this. It's it's so hard because you know what, especially if you're a driven individual, it is really, really hard. But what I do is I have two outlets that I do in order to drive myself to go where I need to be on that road and to go where I need to be. Number one is I read. I read, sit down. My home is my sanctuary. That's number one. You know, if I can suggest anything, have a space in your house for just you. that's what I do. I sit down as I do right now. I can't wait to get home from my job. And I love my job. Believe me, I have, and anybody who knows me will tell you, I have one of the top three toughest jobs, occupations that everybody, I mean, believe me when I tell you this, everybody, I was blessed to do this job. Number one. Number two is we talked about it, I read. I go back and I read. I read anything. I have a nice little library where I read about people and their struggles and how did they overcome them. That's one of those things that you really really want to do is because there's a lot of successful people out there. Their example, Miss Anna Steinfest. Well, in case you guys didn't know this, and I'm gonna put our host out there, and I apologize if she's a little bit embarrassed, but Anna is not from this country. And that gave me, when I looked at her, and that gave me looked at Anna, and I was sitting up there going, you know what? Things are tough. But I seen Anna every day, smile on her face, being able to talk to her, saying good morning, because we talked all the time. And what I did is I looked at her and said, you know what? She's out there doing it. So why can't I? And so she was really, if you want to say, a mentor in her business and her business acumen. I mean, she was actually, and again, truth be told, she was actually one of the individuals that inspired me to go back to school and grab my master's and to go after my PhD, because you know what? She was one of those people that actually mentored me from afar. So I got to give her credit for that.
And
Third thing is,
go.
pardon me?
No, you go ahead. I think that you will miss the gym. So
Right?
do not
Third thing
forget
is,
to
and
miss
that's
the gym.
and that was the third thing that I was gonna say is I was gonna go to the gym, be going to the gym, have an outlet. I am every day at the gym, but today I really wanted to talk to my friend Anna because we haven't really sat down and had a conversation about business, and I love what she's doing and how she does it. And she is a very, very good person when it comes to looking at somebody who balances life. She balances. She has her business. She has a family, but she makes sure she gets to the gym. She makes sure she goes out to um places, countries, visits, to take that downtime, which is very, very important to her and her family. So look at the people around you and say, okay, who can I emulate around me? And that's what I did. And that's the reason why they can look at me and say, you know what, you are successful, is because I looked at people around me.
If you could offer just one key takeaway for our listeners who are working to balance business success with personal fulfillment, what would it be?
If I can offer one point, that would be, don't let anybody stop you. Not at all. Because that's where the complete man came from. Is I was in a situation, again, through transparency, I was in a situation where I was told by someone close to me that, you know what, you're not a good business person. And I, second guess myself on a lot of situations, on a lot of issues. But bottom line is I said, you know what? No, because I have built up the mentor individuals. I looked at the people around me, I looked at them and I said, they're successful. So why can't I be successful? So keep that fire. If that's what I want to say, keep that fire, because that fire, you know, in my situation, I had embers, but I have fire, and now I have the fire, and I am so hungry. I mean, I am, all the things, and as our host had mentioned, all the things that I'm doing right now is because that fire is blazing right now. So just keep it going. Stay hungry, keep it going, because you are going to get those times where you second guess yourself. You are going to get those times where you're not as hungry. But sooner or later, that fire is going to be ablaze. So keep that fire ablaze.
And lastly, where can our listeners find your book? And do you have any upcoming projects or resources you would like to share with our listeners?
Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. ClintonESmith.com is where you can go to find my book. I can tell you this, I didn't even think that I had the book in me. And then when I started writing, it was just like, whoa. And so now the Complete Man is a book, is a section of 4 books. And so I'm working on the second one right now. And the second one is, okay, the first one is spirituality, which is a part of being a complete man. The second piece of it is being having the physicality, and I'm writing about keeping myself together at 59 years old, keeping myself together physically and making sure that I have the stamina and the mental fortitude in order to do what I need to do on a daily basis. And then there's mental and then psychological. So those are all those things that make up the complete man. And I have, as I had mentioned before, I'm going to be speaking in January, and then I will be doing some other stuff, probably but it's all in the beginning of the year because I really want to concentrate on my studies for my PhD in forensic psychology, by the way. And like I said, and you're never too old to achieve your goals. Never, ever, ever. Like I said, I'm 59 years old.
You don't look like 59, and if our
Thank you.
listeners saw you, they will not believe he's in great shape. I mean, think about going to the gym every single day. So, yes.
I walk in and I walk into the gym and most if it wasn't for my beard, most people would be like, yo, how old are you? And I tell them, I'm very proud to be 59 years old. I'm very proud to achieve some of the things that I've achieved in my life. But with that being said, I'm still hungry. I'm still trying to do what I need to do in order to build success. And I want to carry the complete man in this and the book series of the complete man. I want to go ahead and grow that, and so that's what I'm doing now. But I still needed to take some time for my studies, so that's what I'm doing. And actually, this is probably the most craziest thing I've ever done. Is go after my PhD, but you know what? It's well worth it, and I love the fact of the challenge, and that's what it is. It's challenging yourself and trying to every day stepping out and going, okay, what can I do that's different from yesterday? And my PhD was that. So that's what I'm doing.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Clinton, and for sharing such invaluable insights. I know our listeners will find these lessons incredible, helpful as they navigate through their lives as a small business owner.
No problem. Thank you, Miss Anna, for inviting me. I do appreciate that. It's awesome. You're doing so well. I'm so happy to see that you are doing well, young lady.
Thank you again to all our listeners. Remember, success doesn't have to come at the cost of your well-being. Take the time to nurture all areas of your life and keep working towards becoming the complete man or woman you're meant to be. See you next week on Monday Morning Motivation.
You've been listening to the Small Business Survival Conversation podcast. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. And don't forget to join us next week for another episode. In the meantime, hook up with us on our Facebook group at Small Business Survival Tools and Tips. Till next time, thank you for listening.